Hi, I'm Steve from Bike Social, and this is the Triumph 765 Moto2 replica. We saw this last year, but we've only just got to actually have a ride on it. I rode it here this morning. On the road, it's really interesting. It's a 765 motor. Triumph's saying this is the most powerful Daytona ever. They're claiming about 130 horsepower for it. It's the chassis really that's had the most attention on this. The frame itself is pretty much a standard, what was the 675R. It's got very high spec Öhlins front end, very high spec Öhlins rear end, kind of the latest Brembo Styler brakes. It's kind of the chassis is really, where the money's gone. It's also got proper carbon fibre panels. On the road, it feels like you would imagine a Moto2 bike would feel like. Very stiffly sprung, very harsh, very kind of crashy. You're bouncing around, moving all over the place. The engine's really revvy. The whole sensation for an ordinary rider like me feels like what I imagine a race bike would be like. You'll go faster on other bikes because they're easier to go faster on. This makes you work hard for your speed on the road, but it's not really set up as a road bike. In reality, as a 765 triple, it's probably closer to 3/4 of a litre superbike. And because of that, the engine feels really smooth. I came up the long way from Brands Hatch this morning and just really enjoyed it. Once your body kind of bends back to the riding position needed for a sports bike, it's really easy to ride. It's got all the kind of electronics you need, traction control, it's got various road settings, track settings, and it's beautifully put together. So we're here at Brands Hatch, where we're at one of our Bennetts track days. I'm not going to ride it on track because I can't do it justice. But there's a bloke in there who, he's a brickie from Morecambe. He's done a bit of racing, and we're going to let him have a go on it. I'll introduce you to him later on. So John, you've had another couple of chances now to ride another few laps on it. What do you make of it? A bit more experience?
I'm loving it, really enjoying it. Yeah, I mean, like I say, you can't get me off it now. I went out this morning and just did loads of laps, did the full session and did everything that we needed to do. It was great, but now we're just trying a bit harder, hitting all the apexes, pushing it on a little bit more. Gives plenty of feedback, gives me lots of confidence to have a really good go on it. And it's still got that racy feel. The quick shifters, the downshifter works all okay, the brakes are good. I really like the stability of it. I think when you hit the brakes, it feels really stable and controlled into the bends. And it's funny, I always try and revert things back to when I'm racing at the TT, and I think, I'd be a good TT bike. And I think Peter Hickman won, didn't he, with the Triumph last year? Yeah. So I know his secret now, the bugger. But you can go to the shop for a paper on it, and you can also bring it on a track. I've been around the block a bit, and I've done a bit of riding, and yeah, it's every bit that racy package feeling as well with it.
And it sounds lovely. When I was on the wall there, just listening around, you're really distinctive. You can hear you coming.
It's lovely when you're on it. It just gives loads of noise back. It's sort of like 3 stages. It sort of sets off, and then there's a lot of air induction noise, and then even when it's right high up in the RPM, it's still making plenty of power up in the top end of the rev range as well. So yeah, sweet town 3-cylinder. Like I say, I've never really ridden one, so it's all new experiences for me, but a great experience.
And still reasonably comfortable, isn't it? It's compact, isn't it? But it's not.
Yeah, it's quite small. Narrow yokes feel quite narrow, and the tank feels quite narrow. You've only got 3 cylinders instead of 4, so it's just different. It's a pleasure to ride. It's an iconic brand. It's a Triumph. Let's face it. We can understand what they're doing. It's in Moto2. Them boys are flying around on the engine. They're a reliable, good, solid package, and it's in a road bike now, a limited edition bike, and if I had the money, I'd probably have one in my bike collection.
Yeah, I think you're not alone in that. I think a few of us probably would. That's good. Thanks for that, John.
Cheers.
Cheers. We're just going again from the top then.
Yeah, brakes.